have Julia drop the link inside of the chat and also the playlist for other calls. So I think we've done these now, let's see, August, September, October, November, December. So those 5 different calls that we've done in this series. And this is our fourth Friday of the month. This is, I like to call these VIP office hours. And it's where I open my virtual office door to all of you. And I invite you to come in and grab a virtual cup of coffee or tea or whatever your holiday beverage of choice might be. I see that Sue is very festive in her holiday attire here today. I put on some green myself. I didn't get my holiday hat out, but I tried to put some green lights in the background as well. And I want to welcome all of you and thank you so much for coming. Um, what we're going to do to kind of get us started here is I'm just going to see if there's anyone who's on with us who would like to introduce themselves. So I'm going to stop the screen share and I will just call on each of you individually and see if you'd like to introduce yourself. I'll do my introduction first to kind of show you what you will be doing, keeping in mind that this call is really designed for people who are either working in social media or marketing or looking for advice on social media or marketing. That being said, some of you may be independently employed, coaches, consultants, speakers. You might be an employee of an organization where your role is focused around social media or marketing, or maybe you're just here because you're looking for some tips for social media or marketing. So keeping in mind, there might be people on the call who can help you in whatever area you're looking to target, whether it's finding a job or finding clients or just general tips and visibility. So give us a brief introduction of yourself and keep that introduction focused on how we can help you, how we can serve you, how we can send referrals your way, or maybe you're looking to do business. So who are you looking to work with? So I'm going to start and just introduce myself. My name is Brenda Meller. I am your host for these office hours, and I help business professionals, employees, and solopreneurs and job seekers to get a bigger slice of the LinkedIn pie. I created this series, I'm doing these for a few years now for a job seeker community. We were doing it every week, and I decided to make this shift in the summer of this year. I decided to say, hey, I'm not going to talk just to job seekers. I think I want to do these groups for other folks as well. And what we've been doing is every week has been a slightly different topic. So the second Friday has always been for coaches and consultants. We've always gotten a really good turnout at that group. The third Friday, I've done a company pages focus. The fourth Friday, which is today, is focused on social media managers and marketers. And then I was going to try a fifth Friday, which was going to be focused on tech tips and tech support and things like that. But I've decided to make a couple changes, and I want to announce that for all of you to let you know. Just based on where my business focus is moving into 2024. And I learned sometimes you got to say no to some things to say yes to others and prepare that space for yourself. So I've looked at the turnout that we've been getting for each of these events. And while I love having all of you on the fourth Friday call, it's not been one of the calls that we've gotten the greatest turnout for. And I'll be honest, having a call every Friday, it'd be nice to have some Fridays off for me too. So I'm making it a selective choice. Since it is a free offering that I'm doing, I'm looking at how many people are showing up. How do I think it's helping the community, all of you? How can I better serve you is what I'm looking for. And then how is it helping me as well? So what I am looking to do is moving into 2024 at this time, I will be keeping the first Friday of the month as a free VIP office hours for job seekers. So that will be continuing. We are regularly getting between 40 to 80 people that are coming on those calls, many of which are people in career transition. And as you all know, we get people all the time that are going through layoffs and they come into that at a point in their life and then they leave. So we're having new people. It's almost like I don't want to say the turnstile, but we're having new people coming in all the time. The second Friday for coaches and consultants has been the second most popular of my group, and I'm typically getting between 10 to 20 people, sometimes more, sometimes less, but that's typically been a good group. And also it's been an area of focus for me. I did launch a podcast earlier this year called Enthusiastically Self-Employed, which has been really designed to offer business marketing and LinkedIn tips to coaches, consultants, speakers, and authors. And by the way, these podcasts are now going on the Enthusiastically Self-Employed podcast as well. So I'm getting some content from these. I also have a course that's called The Recipe for Social Selling. So it is a nice tie-in to some of the offerings and expertise I've been sharing to coaches and consultants. The other 3 weeks, the company pages calls, I've gotten, sometimes 10 people, 5 to 10 people, maybe sometimes a little bit more. Um, and I do have a company pages masterclass that I've retired that I'm looking at how can I create something as part of my service offering, as a part of my menu of services for coming into 2024. So I'm debating about, do I make that more of a membership focus or a monthly course or a webinar? I'm trying to figure that out right now. The fourth Friday, which is today, has been focused on social media managers and marketers. And we're usually getting around 10-ish, sometimes less, than that coming to these groups. And I think part of that, honestly, is I just haven't been putting as huge of a focus into this category as I have some of the other weeks. But I'm also looking at coming into 2024, launching a membership community and some different offerings in a different way. Instead of it being a course where there's a linear progression of going through from start to finish, I'm looking at launching more of a resource library with a membership component as a part of it. And I've mentioned this a couple times. So for those of you who haven't heard, probably we'll be launching in January. And my business name is Meller Marketing. The membership community I'm going to be calling, ready for this, is Marketing with Meller. So I'm taking my business name and just flip-flopping the words for it, having it a bit of an alliteration to go with that. So if you want to join Marketing with Meller, watch your email. I will have a founding member rate that will be open for a certain period of time. And if you join at the founding member rate, that will be your rate for life. So it'll be a monthly rate, or you can join for annual. And then as we grow the community and grow the resources and whatnot, the rate will be increased a bit. So my vision is that it will have 2 live components each month. One will be a live master class. So I'll be teaching you on a specific marketing topic. For example, and this came up this month, I was emailing back and forth with a gentleman. He has a podcast and he wanted to get me on his show. And I said, sure, do you have a Calendly link? And he sent me some dates and times. And I said, Joe, and that's not his name, but just for sake of argument, Joe, this isn't working for me. Can you, do you have a Calendly? If not, we'll use mine. Cause he's saying, how about Thursday at 3 or Friday at 4? And if you've used Calendly, like how much clarity it creates and how much easier the process is. And I said, this isn't working for me. Let's just use my Calendly link to set it up. So we set it up, we did a discovery call, and it just wasn't as organized. Actually, no, I apologize. We used his Calendly link. I booked the appointment. I got on the call, or tried to join the call, and there was no instructions. There was no phone number. There was no Zoom link. There was no anything. So he was messaging me on LinkedIn saying, hey, can we still talk? If so, can you give me your number? I was looking at my email and I was like, this Joe, again, this is not working. So during the call, I was talking to him about Calendly and I'm like, do you need some help using it? And he's like, maybe. So I might be doing a master class on Calendly, like how to use Calendly properly, how to create events that are not public, how to set buffers in your calendar, how to set up email reminders, how to set up, it's all the things that I do that I help make my life easier. And I hope help to make my clients' life and my podcast guest life a lot easier as well. So that's an example of a masterclass. In addition, I'm looking at once a month doing just like an open networking event. So almost like one of these VIP office hours, but it will be for members only. So you have to be a member to have eligibility with that. So Sue said, ad event email just arrived. Thank you for sharing that. And then she also said, is this Marketing with Meller including live time just with the office hours? Yes. So the live element will be twice a month. You can join me live for a masterclass as well as at some type of a networking event. In the future, I hope to bring in speakers for my master classes. And by the way, I'm going to be paying for my speakers. I want to move to that type of a model too, because I feel like I don't want to be taking advantage of the expertise for people in my community. And also, if I'm making this available only to my members, so I'm essentially making money off of this, I don't feel like it's fair to bring in someone for free. And I've done this for other programs, so I know people do it. They'll like, hey, you can come on and get access to my community and you can deliver a topic. and it'll live in the library. And I've never really kind of, took a step back and said, wait, are you charging for this? Because they're charging for this. And then they're building up content on my back, and not just me, others as well. But I will be paying for speakers. So I do need to have a revenue stream coming in so that I can pay for speakers for this. But that will be an element. And then I will also have an online resource library. And right now I'm envisioning it has kind of four categories. So there's the marketing basics if you're just getting started. So things like having a logo, having a website, brand guidelines, legal documents, the things that I wish I had access to that supported me from a marketing perspective at the beginning of the process. And then the second area within the membership will have strategy and resource documents, things like marketing plans and a content calendar and those types of tools and things like that. The third category will be focused on analytics and data analysis, because I feel like that's a really important part. So things like, how do you know if your email open rate is good? How do you improve your LinkedIn impressions? Yes, there will be some LinkedIn elements as a part of the membership community, but it's not only going to be focused on LinkedIn. It's going to be broader into marketing. So that's the third category. And then the fourth category, I envision it being something along the line of what's new in marketing and trends and, kind of what's next. So right now, as you all know, the big thing is AI, Chat GPT. I feel like it's still on the newer side of things. And there'll be other things in the future. And selfishly, I'm doing this also for myself because I have been now out of corporate marketing for 7 years, but I was also in corporate marketing for over 20, probably 25 years before launching my business. And I still feel like I'm in marketing as a part of my role in terms of the advice that I'm giving to people. So that's my vision. I want to start to package up my value. I know I give away a lot for free. And as I've been just mentioning this shift from moving away from the free VIP office hours into the paid membership, I'm not getting anybody who's saying that's a terrible idea. Why would you do that? Like, everybody seems to be very supportive of the shift in that move. So for now, again, just to summarize, this is the last call I'll be doing for the VIP office hours for social media managers and marketers. I will be continuing on a regular basis the VIP office hours for job seekers on the first Friday of the month. Part of the reason is we've got such a great group. 40 to 80 people coming. The other is I have all stars who are helping to facilitate the call for me. And I also have a course boot camp for Brenda that is a packaged offering for job seekers. So I have something that's serving them. The second Friday is for coaches and consultants. And for now, my plan is to continue that probably through April, maybe March, maybe April. I'll be discontinuing those in the future as well. And then moving forward in January, at some point, I'll be launching the Marketing with Meller membership program, and you can join at a monthly rate. You can come in and come out, on a monthly rate, or you can join on an annual rate. There will be a discounted rate, obviously, if you join annually. And if you join as a founding member, you'll get a lower rate than if you join after my founding membership has expired. So that's just a little bit of news and updates for me. Now, what I'd like to do is I just want to go around, and if you would like to introduce yourself, if you could please use the raise hand function inside of Zoom. I feel like they keep moving around. Sometimes it's under reactions, and sometimes it's under more, and sometimes I don't know where it's at. But at any rate, if you would like to introduce yourself and you can find it, then go ahead and introduce yourself. And I see Selena found it. Selena, where did you find it? I can't see it in my Zoom right now.
So mine's under reactions still, but they move the buttons, so it's further down the bar. It's
It's under reactions, but you got to click on reactions to get to the raise hand.
there's a little
Mine
Love
is
it.
under more. Mine is under more, and then reactions is under more.
Yeah. See? Who moved my cheese?
I
They keep
think I
moving
think
stuff.
Zoom is like upgrading their
Yeah.
2.0
I
to
had to click
yeah.
on reactions twice and then it showed it.
And look at
And
when
then it does
Diane's
these
doing
bubbles.
the reaction, she's getting the party popper
Yeah.
hats coming out of her. So who
She
knows?
must have an upgraded version. I think that's what's happening.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to do this. I'm going to put the spotlight on Selena, who will introduce herself. And then on deck will be Sue. And I'll just keep two people on screen. So if you see you're next to the person, that means you're up next. Go ahead, Selena, and introduce yourself.
First, I wanted to acknowledge you, Brenda. I I'm in the same boat. I literally feel like I'm right behind at your heels. I also do branding and marketing. I do consulting. I do coaching. I mean, you name it all, but I'm a teacher. I teach my clients how to get rid of those hustle proof tactics and teaching them the foundations of marketing and branding and creating a process for their business. Because people come into this, they don't know how to do it, they don't like doing it, they don't enjoy doing it. And many times we discover that they don't need to be hanging out on social media when they don't even like doing it anyway. So I really look at laser focused strategies that are effective for that person. And I left corporate 6 years ago. I was in corporate for nearly 30 years doing marketing communications, internal HR management. I got burnt out. And so I created my own business and I started speaking. What has happened though in the last several years, as every entrepreneur that I'm meeting, is when we stop our pipeline because we're delivering to our clients, now we're in burnout cycle because we're constantly trying to find new customers and clients coming in this cycle. So I'm in this phase of my business where how do I automate the pipeline? So do I need to hire staff and a salesperson designated for just this? The other thing is I realize I've been giving away too much free value as well. So I think this is a message that I need to hear today was 2024, no more free. I built my community for too long and we deserve to get paid. I'm a single mom. We can't live up with fresh air and sunshine. And there's a lot of people that have many talents and value, and we're just giving it away for free. So I'm on a mission to help women make 6-7 figures because I've done it before. And I'm going to be focusing on LinkedIn more seriously. I've been building my community and my branding on Facebook and Instagram, and I have missed millions of dollars because I did not take LinkedIn as seriously as I should have. So 2024, focusing on building my community, building a resource library membership program. So I'm not giving away my free training and all this. My clients are making more money than I am. And I'm like, wow. So it's focusing on speaking, knowing my value, raising my prices. That's who I'm looking for.
Great. Thank you, Selena. All right, Sue, you are up next.
I'm Sue Griffey. I'm known as Sue Mentors. I run a global mentoring practice and work all around the world with people that may not have had access to mentoring before some of the lucky things in COVID. We have better bandwidth than a lot of these countries. I'm also the mentor with pom-poms. You probably saw me giving pom-poms to Brenda earlier because of all you do give away free. I focus, as Brenda does, on actionable things. My tagline is I give you the how to how to do things. And I have to say, Brenda, membership groups are great. I'm finding more and more value in them. And what you're proposing is what I find people want from me, which is, yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there. I can make the first step. I don't mind taking your video, all your materials course, but I need to ask you things directly. So I'm in it for the bite-sized chunks, like last week with Company Page. Today, I'm going to put my welcome message up there. So thank you for these opportunities and happy holidays to everyone.
All right. Thank you, Sue. And Diane, you'll be up next.
Sorry about that. Good morning, Diane, darling. I'm happy pal of Brenda's, who I got to know how many years ago, Brenda? I forget. Anyhow, it seems
probably 2020, probably 3, I think. It was during the pandemic.
3 or 4? Yeah, it was pre-pandemic.
Might have been before that. It was before that even. Yeah.
It was the rock stars. Yeah.
Yep.
So I do speaking engagements around networking. So I love it that, Brenda lets them know how fabulous their LinkedIn should be. And then when they go networking, they have that. I help them figure out what events to attend. This is called the weather report, whether or not you go, and how to behave when you're there. So that's one of the things I do. Also some public speaking and things like that. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Diane. Great to have you here. All right, Becky, you are up next. And I want to see if there's anyone else that would like to introduce themselves. If so, I'll call on you in a second, but go ahead, Becky.
Thanks, Brenda. And I think you've just been awesome in all the things that you've done and helped people. My work is working in the B2B space, high-tech, med-tech, industrial companies. I love manufacturers, and I work with them on putting together the strategy to grow and make more money. So it involves, obviously, multiple steps, and I take it one step at a time, work with them. I've got a small group, and I'm kind of in the reframe work as Brenda is because I've got a small group on Facebook that's free. And every Monday morning, I give them content, and it's pretty substantial content. I mean, it almost takes me the weekend to get ready for them. And to the point of going, what the heck am I doing here? Because that's supposed to be the feeder system for the paid membership group, which hasn't really happened. And I've been busy with that and other things and haven't then had time to work on my paid group. So I think it's all an evolution. And I have a YouTube channel. You could just find it, I think, looking up my name. But I did a video, I even forgot, a couple of years ago on the freemium model. And I talk through some aspects of it for those of us looking to bridge that gap. I'm just going to mention that in case you want to take a look. There might be something there because I've had some people go, oh yeah, here's a couple points. And frankly, I don't even remember what I said. So it's been long enough that I'm like, oh, I should probably go listen to it. But that might be a resource for you as you're trying to figure out some of that. So anyway, my small group for companies under 5 million is Facebook. And like I said, I'm kind of going, I think I should just put that on hold. And I could be doing ads and all that stuff. I just don't know if the B2B people are really humming around on Facebook. And then my bigger clients are 10 to 25 million. And again, I work on the strategy of what do you need to put together all the pieces to grow the business. I come out of product marketing, so we're used to doing everything and being responsible for everything, but maybe not doing the detail. So that's what I'm doing. And lately, because I've spent over 1,000 hours learning AI stuff, and a lot of people are like, why aren't you teaching that? I'm like, well, because it's tactical. So now I have kind of thrown that out in the mix because I think it's a hot topic. And there's so many people that want to get the basics or are scared to even jump in and are like, is this just going to be another nightmare? And I don't have time. So I've started that and we'll see if that goes anywhere. I'm trying desperately to finish up my book, which is ChatGPT for women. And I have another one drafted that's ChatGPT for senior citizens. So I'm looking at doing a little niche marketing on that because I think both women and seniors approach this particular topic a little differently. And so I think, anyway, but that, of course, for those of you that have written books, is somewhat of a laborious process.
Yep, absolutely. Well, thank you, Becky, for sharing. And it looks like, a lot of us have so many things in common, which is really great. And I'm glad that you are all part of my community. I just want to go around and I'll just call on the others who didn't raise their hand, and I'll just see if you would like to introduce yourself as well. If you don't, just, don't say anything and I'll move on to the next person. Miranda, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure.
Okay, good.
Hi, everyone. I am Miranda. I'm located in Cleveland, Ohio, and I am a digital designer. And I'm currently looking for a new role in marketing.
So are you in career transition right now, Miranda?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, good to know. And I want to invite you. We do a Friday VIP job seeker office hours call. It's the first Friday of the month. I'm going to see if Julia, my intern, if she can drop the link inside chat. And also, Julia, if you could drop in the Do This Now checklist for Miranda, really great resource. So you said, what city are you in, Miranda?
I'm in Cleveland.
Cleveland. Okay, so I'm going to give you the name for two things. First, there's a really great organization called Together Digital, and they do have a
Yep.
chapter in Cleveland. Are you a member of that?
Yep, I'm part
Oh,
of it.
good.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yep,
So
they're
that would be my
awesome.
first. My second is, you probably know Megan. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking. Megan Voges. Do you know
Yeah.
Megan? Okay,
Yep.
good. All right,
Yep.
so you got the two
She's
Cleveland
awesome.
people.
Yeah.
And I actually just booked a client engagement in Cleveland for, I think it's February or March, and I'm going to be reaching out to Megan. I'll be staying overnight the night before, so I'm hoping to get a little get together of folks in Cleveland in the new year. So
Oh,
hopefully we can meet in person when I come into town.
yeah, that would
So
be awesome.
great to see you, and I'll
Yeah, me too.
keep you in mind if I hear of anything, and for others on the call as well. So thank you for being a part of us today.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, let's see who else. Annette, would you like to introduce yourself? I know your video's off right now, but would you like to introduce yourself? Going once, twice, moving along. Oh, did she unmute? I thought
No,
she
I'm
did.
good. I'm good.
Oh,
Thanks.
we'll skip. Okay. Royce, would you like to introduce yourself? I know you're camera off and you can be camera off or on, but would you like to introduce yourself to the group?
I would love to. As a matter of fact, I'd love to have my camera on, but apparently it doesn't want to play this morning. So
Oh,
anyway, yes, I'm a copywriter slash content marketer. I've also been a marketing coach for 17 years, and small businesses basically hire me to create the messaging that gets people to want their stuff. Because as we all know, messaging, especially these days, a little boring, a little ineffective, overused. So I help businesses try to reach more people and get them engaged to the point that people want to share their messaging. So bottom line is I write copy that gets more customers more often. That's my goal.
all right. Glad to have you on here, Royce. We appreciate that. All right. Susan.
Absolutely.
Susan, would you like to introduce yourself? Are you able to? I'll say going once, going twice. Susan may not be able to unmute herself, so I will let her listen in. All right, so now what I'd like to do, we've got about 30 minutes, a little over 30 minutes left together, and I want to open up the floor for any questions. I think it was Sue who said earlier the bite-sized chunk. Was that you, bite-sized chunks? And she even said, hey, I have a question for you. So Sue, what's your question?
Well, hopefully it's a small one. Because I just need small help. I meant to mention that. I need like little teeny things along the way. So Brenda, you have a pie in your headline, in your name field in LinkedIn. And I've noticed this more and more. I don't do a lot of Instagram, but I catch up with people's pictures there. And I want to be able to understand better how much and what are the limitations of using things that aren't just regular text. So I thought today might be appropriate for that question.
So you're asking about my LinkedIn, the use of the pie in
You have the
in
pie
my
right
headline?
after your name. Yeah.
So I've got it in two places. I've got it in my pie and in my headline too. And the good thing is when we do these calls on Zoom or YouTube, I feel like I can speak a little bit more candidly about some of the rules of LinkedIn and some of the cautions that I give people on LinkedIn without. If I do these on LinkedIn Lives, I have to be kind of careful that they're listening, and I don't want to bring visibility to me and someone goes, yeah, we need to shut that down, you know? So I will say that, when I'm sharing this with all of you, I want you to think about there are some rules of LinkedIn, and they have terms of use, and they even have like how fields are supposed to be used and things like profiles are only supposed to be used by people, not by pets, not by companies. And sometimes they reinforce the rules and sometimes they don't. So I'm just going to give an example of a time that they reinforced the rules. Leah Turner, if you know Leah Turner, she is a amazing LinkedIn trainer coach. Let me just pull her profile up, and I want to illustrate this as I'm talking about this. So you're going to see on Leah's name field, she has a rainbow as a part of it. And if you look at her follower count, she's like 162,000 followers. And I wouldn't be surprised if she gets to 1 million. She's amazing. I started following her when she was she was under 100,000. It was probably like 50, 60, 70,000. And she was already amazing. You know, when you come across those people and you're like, oh my God, this person's amazing. She's going to be huge. And I started following her when she was on her meteorological rise. And what happens when you start to gain visibility for yourself is you gain a lot of visibility for yourself. And I don't know exactly how it happened. If someone reported her name field to LinkedIn, or if somebody from LinkedIn started sniffing around and saying, hey, this doesn't feel right. But at any rate, LinkedIn, I think like they put her in an account restriction or jail because she had a rainbow as a part of her name. And I don't know the full story, so if I'm telling this wrong, I apologize. But I think she said in so many words, "Hey, LinkedIn, other people are doing this too." And LinkedIn went back to their terms of service and rules, and they said the only thing you can put in your name field is your name, and the word rainbow is not a part of your name, so you can't have it. So you know what Leah did? She went to her and she's in the UK. So in the US, it would be like your social security office. And she went there and she filed to change her name to Leah Rainbow Turner. Like that's officially her name. I love her for doing this. And then she went back to LinkedIn and she provided the proof of her name change, and she said, "Ha." And LinkedIn had to let her have the rainbow as a part of her name. So I share this with you. So when you ask me, hey, how do you get the pie as a part of your name field on LinkedIn? I share this with you and I say use this with caution. And I would never talk about this publicly on LinkedIn because I don't want visibility from LinkedIn. I don't want LinkedIn having take my pie out of my name field. Now, I'm not going to add the word pie to my legal name like Leah did for Rainbow. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's absolutely amazing, but I personally don't want the pie as a part of my name, my official legal name. So if LinkedIn did shut me down, I would just take it off of there. Now, part of the reason I like having my a pie emoji as a part of it is when people post and they talk about you on LinkedIn, I'll just say, I'm not going to post. I'm just going to say, great chat today with, and I'm going to tag Diane Darling because I see her in my chat and at Brenda Meller. And then when you tag the person's name, if they have an emoji, it drops the emoji. So it does two things. One is it reinforces that element that's a part of my personal brand. You know, I talk about social media pie, my love of pie, and a lot of pie analogies, getting a bigger slice, all the good stuff. So it helps to reinforce my personal branding on it. And then also you as the user, if you do this, when you type in my name, and let me show you this technique again. For those that are listening on the podcast, you're just going to have to go do this. So I do the @ symbol, I do first name dash last name, and that just tells LinkedIn I'm still talking about the same person or entity. And you're going to see there's a couple other Brenda Mellers that aren't me, but the Brenda Meller that is me, as soon as I click on it from the drop down, it replaces the @ Brenda dash Meller with Brenda Meller in bold with the pie emoji. So I've heard from people going, oh, that's kind of cool. Like it added it in, like you added in an emoji without even having to do it. And the other thing that is nice about it is if you're, I'm going to close out of this. If you are tagged in a post and a bunch of other people are tagged in a post, some people will call it like a tag wall. Your name pops because your name is the only one with an emoji as a part of it. So I always like to try things that not everybody is doing. Now, if everybody was using an emoji as their name in their name field on LinkedIn, I wouldn't be doing it because I don't want to blend in with everyone else. I do it because nobody else does it. I also put it at the end of my headline field for the same reason, you know, and if LinkedIn does force me to take it out of my name field, they're not going to force me to take it out of my headline because everybody's using emojis in their headline. So let me pause there, Sue. Does that answer your question? And do you have any follow-up questions?
That's fine. Thanks.
Okay, great. So are you thinking about adding an emoji? And if so, would you
Yeah, I
want to
wanted
share
to put
what
my
you're thinking about?
pom-pom, my logo has a pom-pom icon in it. And I was just going to use the pom-poms in there because I use
Okay.
them so much.
Is a pom-pom, is it a current emoji?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I
And
think no,
by the
no,
way,
no, it's an icon. That's what I had a note to
okay.
figure out how I can do that.
So it would have to be an emoji or something. I don't know if you can do other symbols, something that you can copy and paste. I guess it could be a symbol. And by the way, there's a little trick to getting to your emoji keyboard from your desktop. If you're a PC user, you can try this. Like go into the Zoom chat right now, type on, click on your Windows key and period, and your emoji keyboard will pop up. Mac users, it's a slightly different sequence. Um, is it control? Who's a Mac user? Do you know what the sequence is?
Control Command Spacebar.
Control Command Spacebar. So like go into chat like you're going to text someone in chat right now and do Control Command Spacebar and it pops up your emoji keyboard. So if I type in pom pom, I'm not seeing anything. I'm getting some gifts and stuff in there. Are there any symbols you're thinking of, Sue, that are kind of similar? Like the magic one is like that magic wand.
Oh yeah, I could do that. Yeah,
I
I
mean,
hadn't
that's
really thought about it. It was just as I was starting this meeting, I was thinking, oh yeah, there's this niggling little question I wanted to ask. So I was going
yeah.
to experiment with using my favicon tiny icon, because it's so small. I'll just play around with it. It was just curiosity and
Yeah.
interest.
I don't know if you can do it. Now, Diane does some LinkedIn stuff too. Diane, do you know, can you use favicons in text fields? I don't think you can.
I don't think so. I mean, you're much more of a guru on LinkedIn than I am.
Yeah.
And my
Yeah.
question for you was I saw on your LinkedIn subtitle, it had the LinkedIn TM. Is that something we should be using with the TM?
Yeah. So that's something that came up. I think it came up through John Experience
Right.
Espresso plus. Is that right? Was it
Yeah.
Annette or who said yes?
So
Sue?
I remember when this
Was
came up. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think what started happening is there was some rumblings within the LinkedIn coaching and training community of LinkedIn starting to, like, their trademark legal office starting to
Mhm.
kind of get their hands into us a bit, which, the irony is we've always been supporting the platform and helping their members and users to use the platform more successfully. Yes, we've made money off of it. And many of us have disclosed, and I don't think they've actually gone after anyone and saying, hey, you need to say that you don't work for or are sponsored or endorsed by LinkedIn. Technically, if you look at their legal guidelines, anywhere you use the LinkedIn logo, you have to use their guidelines. And if you're going to use the name in a book, you have to get their approval. And if there's a lot of other things too.
So
So
Fred, I can just add a little bit. If you
yeah,
see on anybody's profile
yeah,
that they say they are not connected to LinkedIn, that is mandated by LinkedIn's legal counsel
it
because
is.
they have
But
misrepresented themselves to the point that they've gotten the attention of
well,
LinkedIn's.
I will say I have not been approached by LinkedIn, but if you look at my profile in my about statement, I have disclosed that I am not affiliated with LinkedIn. And I
Okay.
didn't do that because LinkedIn told me. I did that because I've seen other LinkedIn trainers and coaches, and I asked the question, do we have to
Great
do
point.
that? I mean, technically, if you look at the rules, you should disclose that, and it's a good business practice. It's their platform, it's not our platform, but they've been for the most part hands off on us, and we've been for the most part respectful. There are a few people that do represent themselves as a LinkedIn employee, and then they're not. But at any
Yep.
rate, I think what happened is LinkedIn started going after a few people, and I don't want to name names. I'm not sure exactly who, but those people had to disclose that they don't work for LinkedIn. And then they also, anytime they used the word LinkedIn, they had to use the TM symbol.
Yeah.
So I started using, like, I use Text Expander, and every time I typed in the word LinkedIn, it put TM automatically as a part of it. So I went through my profile, I looked for all mentions of LinkedIn, and I put it in. And then I'm like, you know what? This is a little bit crazy. So I started doing, like, in my headline, I have TM as the first mention, but I don't have it as every single mention everywhere. And when I say LinkedIn in a post, I don't put it as a mention either. So, did you want to add anything else onto that, Diane, or
No,
anything to
I like the
clarify?
way you've done it because it's clear
Yeah.
that it's not a order because you say, hey, I'm a fan,
Yeah.
where I'm not going to name names either, but I know one or two people who've been in LinkedIn jail, and it's a mandated thing. It's
Yeah.
my understand, because I called somebody and he's like, yep, I'm the LinkedIn jail person. I know I've been in it,
Yeah.
so many times that he has to do it everywhere, and it's got to be I don't know what the guidelines are, but
It's consistent, but now I want to stay just below their radar because I don't
yeah,
want, and I've already had, two instances this year where I've had LinkedIn account restriction and I've done nothing wrong. I was doing activities that I normally do. The only thing I did that was quote unquote wrong is I canceled my premium subscription. So I became a free basic member. I wasn't paying any money to LinkedIn, and I kept doing the activities I was doing from before, which was opening up, in their words, too many profiles, which looked like automation. And then I got my account restricted, and it happened again. They gave me a 3-month premium trial, and I was planning on upgrading to premium after it expired, and I didn't. And within those 2-day period, I got my account restricted again. So I'm a little bit. I love LinkedIn. A little irritated with LinkedIn right now. I'll be honest with you. Just a little bit, just a teeny tiny bit, but enough that I'm going to use it to help all of you. And when people ask questions, I'll clarify and ask questions, but I will not share my story about LinkedIn, being in a LinkedIn account restriction on LinkedIn. You can go to my blog, you can listen to my podcast about it, but I'm not going to publish it on LinkedIn because I don't want to bring up that visibility any higher than it is. And Annette,
yeah.
you've been so patient. You've raised your hand. What did you want to add?
I thought you didn't like me anymore.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, I'm only kidding. I just wanted to mention something. It's kind of off topic, but one of the things in the LinkedIn local guidelines that they have when you're publishing, if you're advertising if you put it on a website or something like that, you have to specify in it that you are not associated with LinkedIn on that. So I guess that's just their, their thing, that they don't want people to be thinking that you're with LinkedIn if you're not. They're very protective of that name. But I just thought I would mention that because it's also in those guidelines, because I just started doing those recently.
Yeah, and I had a conversation with another LinkedIn coach. She's not on the call right now, but we were talking about our books, which both have LinkedIn as a part of our subtitling. And I'm not going to go into everything on it, but I intentionally did not choose to use the word LinkedIn as a title of my book. It's called Social Media Pie. It's not called LinkedIn Marketing. And it's intentional because technically, if you look at the copyright and trademark rules, you can't do that without their permission and getting some type of an approval from them. So that's as far as I'm going to talk about that. I saw two additional hands. Annette, first of all, I apologize. And I saw your comment about emojis. If I were you, I'd use the black paws, the little two paws, because you got Black Dog Marketing as your company brand right now.
Yeah.
I would totally go with that if I were
Okay.
you.
I'm gonna give it a shot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a shot.
Yeah. I think it's awesome. All right. Thank you, Annette, for being patient. Okay, Becky, I see that you have your hand raised, and then we'll go to Diane.
Okay, I posted this in the chat thing, but I thought I would just mention it because I use AI thing all the time, I swear. And so a lot of times I will write a post, and the way I teach people to use AI is use it for something you already know so you can fact check. And when I go to it, I will say, like, penguins are one of the few birds that can't fly, but they have other strengths. I want to write an analogy and talk about how this applies to differentiation and competitive advantage in businesses and using your strengths, blah, 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 blah. And so I give chat a whole bunch of stuff and then say, put it together. Well, then I come back and I edit whatever. And usually if I completely write my own post, or if I have chat to it, I will go back and I will say, give me some emojis. Or I might write my own post and I'll go, can you make this a little more interesting? Or blah, blah, blah. So I just wanted to throw that out because for me, I have been in emoji desert and not gotten very far. So for me, I just go to chat and I go, put in some emojis. And then I take what I like and delete or whatever, but it happens in a snap. So that's kind of how I've been doing some of the emoji stuff. Just wanted to throw that out. And the other thing, now when I do my book, Chat GPT for Women, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to call it, but there are a bunch of books out there that have Chat GPT and they don't have TM on the titles. So I don't know if I'm going to run into a challenge there. But anytime
Can you I mean, a lot of it is cease and desist, So if they approach you, you have to agree to stop selling it, but then you have to redesign your cover and do all these other things. Could you, I mean, it's almost like Kleenex is the brand name for
right.
facial tissue. What's the categorical name for Chat GPT? That's like facial tissue of Kleenex.
The company is OpenAI and the product is Chat GPT. So
Okay.
I'm not sure. And I just was doing a little search on bestsellers, or I can't remember what I was looking at, but there's somebody that's got a book that's got Chat GPT Millionaire. No, nothing reference. And book titles are a little funky too, because they're not protected and anybody can steal our catchy book title if they want, and there's nothing we can do about it. So I'm not sure if there's other rules that apply when you're doing a book title.
I've got a couple, one of my clients is actually a trademark law firm. Trademark copywriting. I'm going to reach out and just ask the question, has this question come up yet? The use of Chat GPT in names. And if so, are you able to share? And I'll ask them, can you share it as a LinkedIn post to make it public? They may not want to because it's, not legal advice. And I don't know, but I might just ask the question to see what they say.
I've got other IP lawyer friends, and then another friend checked on something, not this particular one, but we got different answers. I'm like, oh, for God's sakes. But the other thing I was going to mention too is just it's good practice to put the TM in on any company name. Like I'm here in Minnesota, the land of Post-it notes. Well, I just think calling them sticky notes is sort of annoying. But if you do call them Post-its, you have got to put the TM. So just if you're writing an article, you're referencing them. I just think it's probably good practice if you're actually in like Kleenex, like you said, and like Band-Aids that have become a generic term. There's
Yeah.
still, anytime put the TM in because they're not going to come after little people like us, most likely. But
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
you're famous like you on LinkedIn, you got a target on you, girl.
Yeah. Well, and it's like you gotta like kind of walk that line, of
Yeah,
what
but I would just
so
say it's best practice.
yeah.
Just put the TM in on stuff. Most of them are TMs versus I call it circle
Yeah.
of the copyright
All right.
or
Thank you,
circle
Becky.
R.
Okay, Diane, and then we'll go to Sue.
One for I just switched screens here. One for Miranda. Check a website called Parker Dewey. I don't know where you went to college, but they have paid internships on there that you can put your name in for. And I recommend this for anybody who's looking for some help. It's a great place. I've hired 2 interns. It's been pretty helpful. Also, Handbrake is where you can do things for college, and then you answer the LinkedIn TM question. So that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. All right, Sue.
I just wrote this, but my comment to Becky is one for all of us. There's way beyond Chat GPT. And the important part of it is the GPT part, which is a more generic term. You may want to just title it for general AI use, because I'm getting questions now on Bard and Copilot and the all the GPTs, like there's a legal GPT and there's a research academic writing GPT because they opened up the API. So you could skirt the issue of using Chat GPT in your title to get people used to, there's a range of them. It's not just this one, kind of like your Kleenex analogy, Brenda.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Awesome. Good. Okay. Anyone else want to add anything to that conversation? I think this is really helpful and sometimes interesting how one question springboards us to another topic related to that. Okay. We got about 10 minutes to go. Any other questions? Anybody want to share any updates with what's happening with them? I talked about at the beginning of the call how I'm starting to shift and some of the things I'm looking at doing in 2024. Does anyone else want to share in the group? Annette, I'm going to put you on the spot because I know you're shifting your company name, and we're talking in early January. We're going to be doing an event together. Do you want to talk about that a bit?
Well, sure. So I shifted my company actually back in at the end of the summer, right when I was just starting to speak at a couple places, and I wanted to have all that in place so that I could, use that. And then, of course, you reminded me that I should actually take it out and then put it back in the current month because then it goes out to everybody. And so I am waiting to add my podcast to my profile in January when I can have that all, out there. Anyway, so I have shifted my business from, resumes and LinkedIn profiles. I still do LinkedIn stuff. I still do LinkedIn profiles and banners for people who just want those. But my focus is really more on content marketing strategies. So my business is helping people be comfortable on video, create videos, come up with content ideas, content strategies, etc. And in line with that, I am launching this new podcast, hard launch in January. Brenda is my very first guest. And if you're interested in content marketing, I have some fabulous guests on there talking about creating content calendars around your content pillars. I have a comedian coming on to talk about getting clients by not taking yourself so seriously. And every time I put together my event thing, I get excited. So that's kind of me. And I guess that's kind of it, Brenda. I'm just really excited. And I've talked to you about this when I worked with you, that now when I talk about what I do, I'm actually excited about it. And it comes across to people that I'm not just trying to pitch something that I'm really not all that enthusiastic about. Even if I do great work, still it doesn't give me joy. So that's a good thing.
Did I don't think I caused that. I think maybe I nudged you a little bit. I pulled it out of you or pushed you a little bit in that direction. That enthusiasm for what you already have.
Well, yeah. When I worked with you, I I actually hired Brenda, and you should too if you need some help. But during that session, we were starting to talk about it, and she was giving me some guidance on my LinkedIn profile and talking about it. And you did help me to bring the enthusiasm out even more because it's a little it's nerve-wracking when you're going from one thing to another. And while I've been known in some circles for doing this stuff, having friends and colleagues constantly message me, how do I do this? Oh, how do I do that? And so, but yeah, you certainly did help me with that. But it's kind of a, it's a new thing, but I'm excited. And thanks again for with the podcast too, referring me to that podcasting business school for podcasters. Great info there. You're so generous. I'm eager to learn more about your membership group. So
You just made me think of one of my
we'll be
favorite
looking
movies.
for that email. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. You just made me think of one of my favorite movies of all time when I was growing up, Wizard of Oz, when it was on every year. It was only on like once a year. And I remember we'd go over my grandparents' house and I'd get like peanut M&Ms and we'd be sitting in front of the TV and it was like big movie night. And now you can watch movies anywhere, anytime, and movies have lost a little bit unless you go to the movies for a premiere. But at any rate, at the end of the movie, when Glenda the Good Witch comes out and she says, you had it with you all along, like, but you had to learn the lessons along the way to get there. And it kind of like, um, I'm like, I can't take credit for that, for you being awesome. And that you were awesome all along. It was honestly, it's like, all I do is I help to pull things out and I help to frame things. And, coming from a corporate marketing background, this is what I did for years and years and years and I remember one of my jobs was in the job title, it literally said this: take our presentations and make them sing. So I wouldn't create the proposals themselves. Like the head of sales would create it, but he would give it to me and he would say, make this better, make this sing, make this amazing. And I would take what was already there and it was like all the ingredients were there, but it was really dry and boring and it wasn't very visual. And I would just help to kind of frame it up and shape it up. And he was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I go, but it was already amazing. All I did was just turn the dial a little. And that's what I do when I'm working with clients on their LinkedIn. I'm like, it's already pretty good, but let's just tweak it a little bit. What if we did this instead? And how about this? What do you think about that? Which reminds me of that scene at the end of the movie when like the whole movie, they're trying to get back home. They're trying to get back home and they're trying to get the Oz and they feel like Oz is going to be the place that gives them the answer to how to get back home. And then it's the great and wonderful Oz. And then we realize, guys, you pull the curtain back and it's just some guy from Kansas who's talking in a microphone with a big video. And we're all kind of like, oh man. And I hear so many people using that analogy, pulling the curtain back, and revealing things like that. But I love that movie and I love that character Glenda, and I feel like Glenda, hey, it kind of rhymes a little bit. So maybe I'll create a little social media meme or gif or something with I'm like the Glenda Good Witch of Marketing, nudging what was there all along, because I really don't feel like I'm creating these things. I feel like it's just sometimes, and all of you probably experience this when you're trying to market yourself. It's the hardest thing. Like if you work with marketing for your clients, you can do this day in, day out. You can help them with I mean, Becky, I see your head nodding. You know exactly what I'm talking about. So like you can see it because you're impartial. It's not you. But when it's you marketing yourself, it's like we get like almost like, I just don't know what to do. We just like freeze up and we collapse inside ourselves. But when it's somebody else from the outside looking in, helping us and giving us ideas and suggestions and empowering us and lifting us up, um, that can be a really powerful thing. So I think there's something there. And I'm super excited about this membership community that I will be launching in January. And you will all see some details coming in your email. What I will be doing is if you're in my email list, my VIP email list, I'll be notifying that list first and giving a deadline for the founding membership. I'm not going to do it right now because I'm not crazy. It's the holidays. Nobody's going to be reading their email. Honestly, I am not sending out a happy holidays email. I'm at the point where now I'm getting, I don't know if y'all are experiencing this. I'm getting happy holidays email from people I've never heard from all year long. All of a sudden, I'm getting a happy holidays email and with a little PS, if you're looking to train your leadership team in 2024, please keep us in mind. And another one was like, if you're looking to purchase XYZ items to support your blah blah blah. Keep us in mind. And now I'm looking them up and I'm like, I remember subscribing to their email list. So now I'm finding like new people that are adding. This is like one of my pet peeves. I've got a blog and a podcast about it. Like, don't add people to your email list without permission. If you have an opt-in list, it is called an opt-in list for a reason. Don't opt people in. And it makes it really awkward when you add people to your list that you know. And I've got a handful of people that have done this to me. And I can't opt out because it would be awkward. And some of these are clients, but I have not opted in. They opted me without my permission. At any rate, I'm using this as an opportunity to either unsubscribe or reply back. And I say, Becky, and Becky didn't do this to me, but I'm just going to use Becky's name. Becky, thank you so much for adding me to your marketing email list. I'll definitely keep your support services in mind for 2024. I'm also going to add you into my email list so you'll start to get my LinkedIn strategy tips, and do keep me in mind as well. Happy holidays. So I'm like, how can I stay on brand? I don't want to get to the snarky negative part of things, but I also feel like I don't want people to walk all over me. And I don't want I don't want to be taken advantage of. And I feel like sometimes people do that either because they don't know that they shouldn't, or they rightfully know that they shouldn't, but nobody's calling them out on it. Or the people that they're doing it to, they're not going to call them out on it because it would make it awkward. Like, you made it awkward, but I'm going to make it awkward by unsubscribing. No. So I'm trying to figure out how to stay on brand, stay positive. And there's two actions I've been taking. It's the unsubscribe if there's zero interest at all. And there's the thank you for adding me to your list. Definitely will keep you in mind. I'm also going to add you to mine. And that lets them know. How does it feel when you get an email from someone that you have not subscribed to? With all of that said, I really have enjoyed this, and I do hope that this community continues on with me through the Marketing with Meller program in 2024. It will be this. It will be exactly what we're doing here. They'll be doing some master classes, which will be focused on a specific educational topic, and then there'll be a networking call, which might be more of like an office hours type of thing like this. All of the calls will be recorded. Everything will go into the content library. When you join, you're going to get access to everything that exists at the time and everything that exists moving forward. So you'll get kind of like lifetime access, but it'll be membership based access. So if you join monthly, you get access for as long as you are a member, and you get access to everything that happened in the past and everything that's going to be going forward, and it will stay private. And that's, I think, one of the keys is that even with these calls, I've moved these off of LinkedIn. These are on Zoom, but right now these are on Zoom and on YouTube. So we have to kind of keep in mind it's still going to be public. When I move it into my membership community, it's going to be lockdown members only. It's not going to be public. It will be recorded for playback, but you won't be able to record it. It will only be recorded by me. And so yeah, so I'm looking forward to this, and I'm very excited about it. Let's see, is there anything else that I wanted to cover off? Happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. I feel like this is kind of the week that things are getting a bit crazy and wonky. I'm nearly not going out with a lot of holiday messaging in my emails right now because, again, in the beginning I talked about this. When everybody zigs, I zag. Everybody is doing a holiday message right now. I will not be doing a holiday message. Everybody is doing different posts on LinkedIn related to the holiday right now. I am not. I'm doing my regular LinkedIn posts. Yeah, they're not getting as much traffic as they were from before, but if everybody is doing a happy holidays, our office is closed, here's our team at the holiday party, blah, 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 blah. And I'm doing hey, you should use, and I just published a newsletter this morning, you should use a branded company header in your LinkedIn profile. That's what I went out with on the Friday before Christmas. Who would have thunk, right? But I'm going to reach the people that are not in business mode. And also, there are people that don't celebrate Christmas. There are people that are Jewish, that their holiday has already happened and they're back into business mode. And they're waiting for this deluge of Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's things to quiet down. And there are job seekers who are still looking for jobs. I will be posting job seeker tips over the next week. There are people who are self-employed who've just pivoted out of employer relationship and starting their own business. They're going to be looking for stuff because we're all into this planning mode right now of 2024. We're winding down 2023, winding up 2024. earlier this week, I did a post where I looked at my LinkedIn analytics, and there's a way you can look at for the past 365 days which posts performed the best in terms of impressions. I did a post about that. So continue to watch me as I zig, as everyone else zags. And this will be more good things to come coming into 2024. With that said, I'll remind you, you can download chat before you'd like to leave the meeting today. If you'd like to download chat, go to the chat area. Now I can't find my 3 dots. The 3 dots isn't there anymore. Oh, did they?
It
Oh,
is
no,
for
it's at the
me.
top. It's at the top. Okay.
It's at the top.
It's
Mine's
mine.
at
It's
the-
not at the bottom of the chat.
Mine-
It's at the top. 3 dots.
Mine's at the top. I mean, mine's at the bottom with the message group meeting group chat.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. So if I change it to a person? No. I don't
No,
know.
if you go to meeting group chat for
Yeah.
everybody, for me, the 3 dots is there.
Okay. So
It's on
wherever
the
you see
very bottom. It's on the very bottom of the screen instead of how it used to be like parallel to where it says meeting
Yeah.
group chat. Now it's on the very bottom, at least on mine.
So
Right.
it's in at least 3 places, either at the top of your chat, the bottom of your chat, or the very bottom of the menu. At any rate, if you would like to download the chat after our call has ended, feel free to do so. I am going to stop the